Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, like a book club for people who hate reading. This week was a grab bag, so we did the movie Disney's Black Hole, made in 1979, Episode 1, Season 1 of True Detective. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston. And so here's the description of Disney's Black Hole. A research vessel finds a missing ship commanded by a mysterious scientist on the edge of a black hole. And since these two had never seen it, I'll let Ryan go first.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a smart move.
Okay, as far as like initial rating, what I expected out of this?
That's a bingo.
It's a begrudging 2.5.
James?
I feel like that half is coming from some deep well of goodness that I have in my soul.
I've known you for a while. That goodness does not exist.
I'm gonna give it like a 3.
I'll give it
The 6.
no. I'll give it a. I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.
What?
Before we get too far down the rabbit hole, unfortunately, one of my most beloved actors had recently passed away, being Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
That one
couldn't
bummed my fucking day out, man.
If you don't know who he is, he's like the only guy who's ever been killed by a Terminator, an alien, a Predator, and something else.
One of his Terminator, Alien, and Predator for sure. He almost was killed by a twister.
Oh, yeah.
And one of his most famous lines, it's actually one of my favorites, is "Game over, man, game over."
Oh, Weird Science, right?
No, Aliens 2.
Oh, Aliens. Oh, what am I thinking? What's the fucking line I'm thinking of from Weird Science?
That one that you thought of?
I don't know.
But I was reading on my iPhone, literally read that and immediately ran to my computer going, what the fuck? No, this has got to be a lie.
He's 661, man. I mean, the dude has done so many things, and with a crazy range. I mean, I've been a fan ever since I saw him in True Lies.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been reading news reports off and on for the last couple of days, and nobody had anything bad to say. Like, usually when celebrities die, you usually hear somebody say, God, that dude was a dick. But everybody I've read say he was an amazingly nice guy, and for Hollywood, that seems to be a rarity.
Yeah.
Well, he seemed like one of those dudes that would be genuinely having a good time making movies, you know?
Yeah. I think Helen Hunt said that he made making Twister great.
Because when Richard Dean Anderson dies, nobody's going to be sad. That dude's an asshole.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Apollo 13, Tombstone, Alien, Predator, albeit Predator 2, Terminator, A Simple Plan, U-571. I mean, the dude's done a thousand things. I mean, even into like the comedies, he did a couple of things with Broken Lizard. I think he was in Club Dread.
Like, literally, if you've seen movies he's in, even if you say, oh, I've never seen it, he's literally in a 1,000+ movies, and some are ancillary characters, some are more important, but I guarantee you've seen things he's in.
Yeah, most recently, like Nightcrawler and Edge of Tomorrow. Oh man, yeah, every time you see him on screen, you're happy that he's there, you know?
So from everybody in Real Flix Reviews, we kind of...
Condolences to the family.
To family and friends.
Yeah.
And so that being said, we got to kick off the review of the Disney's Black Hole. Excuse me. This movie for Disney was kind of, I don't know if it was an epic failure, but it was a failure. One, this was in the era of like Star Wars, so Disney was trying to get into that. The thing going for this movie is the scale of it. The miniatures in this movie, in my opinion, and the sets are still, even today, I think, unprecedented. This was just such a revolutionary movie. At the time, they even invented a camera control system for it that was better than anybody's at the time.
Well, which is actually an interesting story, because they were trying to rent the one that Lucasfilm developed for the Star Wars side.
Yeah, and they couldn't agree
I want
to
to
it.
say even for Empire specifically, but the rental price for it was just like not retarded. I'm sorry, bad word.
Special needs.
It's terrible.
Downsy.
Astronomical, let's say.
And
but
that's
so they basically, went in and did it on their own. But also another interesting thing before I talk an amazing amount of shit about this movie, this was one of the last flicks, maybe the last one, that was done straight up in-house by Disney. Nothing was farmed out to other special effects artists the way that it is nowadays.
Yeah, the
where
last
it's
studio
1,000
movie.
different departments in a bunch of different companies. Everything was done by Disney.
And so I liked this. One of the reasons I do kind of like this movie is because the sets are amazing.
Oh, yes, please educate us. Please educate.
The sets are amazing. The special effects are amazing. There are some things that are a little weird. You're going to talk about the Vincent robots, a little odd. However, this movie has the same problem that 2000 Leagues Under the Sea has. It is slow. And I wouldn't even say it's a slow burn of a movie. They could easily remove half this movie and still have it entertaining. That being
You
said,
didn't like Ernest Borgnine taking one for the team?
see, I love Ernest Borgnine. I literally could have seen that dude read the dictionary, and I still would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, ever since basketball.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, there's an amazing amount of actors in this movie, but I'm thinking what they tried to do like a Star Wars or a hard sci-fi, and they're missing the comedy of Star Wars, and they're missing the entertainment factor of most hard sci-fi.
They're almost missing the soul of Star Wars.
Well, it's Disney. They're not going to make fellatio symbols all over the place.
Well, of course not. But I mean, Star
Unless it's
Trek
The
was
Little
also
Mermaid.
out at the same time. I want to say that Star Trek: The Motion Picture came out the same year, or maybe the year before or something. But these things had been done before. Maybe like you said, some of the scale and some of the sets, looked pretty amazing. But it was all sort of derivative, maybe just like the next level up of other things that were being done. They had the most complicated looking control panel on a spaceship I've ever seen.
This almost seems to me to be a retelling of like Dante's Inferno and mixed with a couple other movies.
Do you mean that's because they actually hinted at Dante's Inferno?
Well, even
That's
before
kind of a give me, John.
well, even before that, I mean, there's just the theme of the movie is kind of, these three people walk up to this mysterious gate, fly up to this mysterious black hole. That was like, even as a kid, it's like, I don't know. I do like this movie. It has some interesting themes to it. I mean, some of the things I thought was cool was the human robots.
I don't know if they were robots or zombies or
They kind of alluded
damned.
they kind of alluded in one scene they're more cyborg than humans or robots and humans.
All right, so I'm going to jump into
And
this one.
Slim Pickens in this does a voice in this movie that made me happy.
Oh, is that who the robot was?
Uncredited, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I meant to look that up, and I didn't. I got to say this is hardcore sci-fi from Disney at the time. I mean, this was really a kind of a shot in the dark.
I would say even
All
for
puns
the I would
included.
say even for the 70s, this was hard sci-fi.
No, because I have one of my picks for the question later is one that's preceding this. I gotta say though, I kind of want to give it a 3 out of 4 because it was a decent attempt to do it. It was way out of Disney's,
Wheelhouse.
repertoire. So I think that looking at it that way, it was good for what it was because you guys mentioned the sets, the kind of special effects that they went for were actually pretty good for what it was, and they really were stepping way out of their comfort zone.
It did seem like they tried to be 2001 too much, though.
Yeah. They have, they had a few things like the meteors look like strawberry nerds that they just kind of rolled down a board.
Yeah, this is true.
Dude.
And then
Nailed it.
I'm kind of bummed because I'll just say it straight out. Ryan didn't get to see the whole thing, so when Vincent got the boner pushed off of him by Maximilian, I mean the robot penis, that really wasn't necessary, guys. Come on. I mean, literally, a robot penis, Disney, really?
It's not the worst thing they've
It is
done.
Disney, dude. Come on.
That is true, and I did kind of make a little mermaid reference earlier.
Yeah, you pervert.
So, So things like that, those took me out. I would say this isn't as slow as some of the sci-fi that was out at the time.
For Disney,
For that, it was actually pretty well paced. I mean,
I would say
So-
for Disney, it's slow.
I think this was their first PG film too.
It was. I still like this movie though. I'm pretty much a sci-fi fan. We'll watch almost anything with
From
sci-fi.
the 1902 up till
Now.
98.
No, I wouldn't go. I watch modern sci-fi.
What was the last decent alien movie they came out with?
The
72.
second one. But no,
So, I mean, the acting. I mean, the only really good actor in the whole thing was really Ernest. I mean,
I thought-
everyone else wasn't that great.
I thought they all did pretty good for what it was. The one thing that I
What the
didn't.
hell was the telepathy thing with
Yeah.
the robot? What the
I
hell
was
was that?
I was about to bitch about that.
Okay.
because that was the weirdest thing. All of a sudden, you looked at the robot's eyes, and there's some sort of twirling.
Oh, when his
thing.
eyes popped up, I'm like, what the hell? He's got eyeballs!
So I was reading on IMDb, and I didn't know this before until reading this. Apparently, there was supposed to be some sort of effect, like it was the eye. Something was supposed to flip, supposed to do something, so it would
Well,
give
he
him
did do
more
a little
emotions. No,
circle
his
thing.
eyes. Something. His
Oh,
eyes were
his
supposed to do
eyes.
something, and they couldn't get the physical effect to work.
Oh.
Because the first time I saw this, it's like, oh great, it's a special needs R2D2. I mean, so what exactly is the point of this robot? And it's poorly done. It really does look
What
like
does
the Fisher
Vincent
Price
stand for?
version of a robot.
What did Vincent stand for? That's what I wanted to know.
Oh,
Because they
God.
never did a zoom up on the writing on his name.
I actually found
And then I
this.
noticed
Give
that
me a
there
second.
was one thing where it showed dots on everything, so Vincent did stand for something.
Hold on. You guys talk. It actually does stand for something because I read it a couple of days ago. I'm like, seriously? They
There,
actually-
there was a great line in there, and I'm not sure if Ryan got to it. When they first get on the spaceship and the robot's going in, and he says something to the young guy, and he turns to the robot and he goes, "Are you programmed to torture me?" The robot like goes away. "No, I'm programmed to educate you." I was like, "Damn, that was a good little rebuttal right there."
By the way,
That was
what
some good
is?
comedy.
I agree. What's with all the really bad philosophy from those robots?
Oh yeah, when
Holy
they started
crap.
philosophizing, what the hell?
So
And I don't think
Vincent
that's a word.
Well, there was
stands
a
for-
lot of weird things going on with the
Oh,
robots
yes.
in this movie. I mean, really bizarre. The weird fight between Maximilian
Oh,
and Vincent was the weirdest
Did you
clunky thing.
You know what I'm
ever.
talking
No
about? The little
comparison.
boner pops up and floats him away.
So
I mean, dude, this is seriously something that Mystery Science Theater would have a field day doing.
Oh yeah.
or riff tracks. I gotta say
Yeah,
that
exactly, something like that. Like when what was it? Maximilian. First of all, how long do you got to work with somebody before you shorten that shit to max?
Oh, I know. Obviously, less than over
When he
20 years.
absorbed what's his face?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at the Vincent robot, it totally looks like something out of Buck Rogers' TV show.
It actually kind of looks like
Yeah.
the new droid from the Rogue One.
So it stands for Vital Information Necessary Centralized.
Really?
Yeah,
They just wanted to call the thing Vincent.
pretty much. It just makes no sense. God, I like this movie, but it is hokey. I mean, it's definitely 70s. Everything in this movie is very 70s. Even the sets, like the scale of the sets, and a lot of this I bet was matte painting, which is one of the
yeah.
things they said their computer system they did actually allowed zoom up and moving of matte painting, and so this movie was really high tech for the time they made it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, okay, yeah, high tech, but look at what Star Wars did. You know, I'd like to compare the budgets, you know, but
Oh God, this was
It's-
released in December 21st, 1979. So, in today's terms, that's pretty much the middle of those. That's when they release all the movies that you really want to see.
well, that's my
Um,
point. I mean, you know, with a studio like Disney backing it, you know, you would expect that to be top
Have
of the
some
game.
clout.
So
You
the
know,
budget of
but-
this movie, and I'm assuming for back then this was a lot, was $20 million.
Oh wow.
What was it for Star Wars? 77.
I doubt Star Wars was even close to that.
200,000 probably. Today's money probably like $500,000.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is not exactly the most exciting television since apparently everybody's looking up the same
Okay,
damn thing.
13 million.
Really? In
So,
today's
yeah,
money or
13
at the
million
time?
at the time.
Oh,
Which makes sense. You know, that was the scale of that movie was pretty awesome also, and they built a lot of shit.
I would say that the difference though is Star Wars. None of the universe felt big, but none of the ships did. All the ships were kind of compact. The universe in this movie felt small, but the ship never freaking ended.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like we only saw. I mean, what are you talking about? They were just in certain rooms and like star destroyers and whatnot. I mean, you know, and then you get to the Death Star and just the view of the Falcon flying into the port.
Well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
meant, well,
Scale like crazy.
I don't know. For me, maybe it was just the way they did the camera work in like Star Wars. Like everything had like large size, like the Death Star, it looked huge. But like
But
the way,
basically,
but it seemed to
my
me like the
point
way,
is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but it seemed to me the way they filmed the ship. Maybe it was just completely different styles, going for more of a darker tone. Because for '77 and being Disney, this movie was fairly dark. Was everything
Yeah,
was like
very
this?
dark, especially when robots are Cuisinart in dudes' hearts.
yeah.
And this, like this movie, everything had the slow, pan, and Star Wars was a lot of fast, more fast-paced
Well,
cinematography.
And I'm not even talking about the pacing or the story specifically, because obviously it's Star Wars is space pirates, and it's hard to not get me sold on that. But hardcore sci-fi is not space pirates. It's not swashbuckling. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely good with hardcore sci-fi, but I have to. I was trying to put myself in like, okay, if I was watching this at the time, would I be viewing this any different? And I have to put it in just a straight up post Star Wars world.
Yeah.
And when you're doing things like shaking the camera to make it look like the meteors are hitting the ship, I'm sorry, the Strawberry Nerds, and people are falling over the railing in the most comical way possible, it lacks a lot of luster.
So
Yeah,
so
and I gotta say the robots that the dude made were pretty crappy if the little tiny balls were able to take it
Very
out.
crappy.
I mean, way better than I could do, don't get me wrong. I can't make a freaking robot.
so for a little, the Star Wars released on May 25th, 1977. In today's terms, that's kind of the beginning of the summer movie season. So it definitely had some years to kind of learn its lesson from Star Wars. I think what happened is Disney just tried to do too much. I still stick with my 3 out of 5. I do like this movie. It's not a movie that I can watch all the time because honestly, this movie is slow. It's not a fast-paced movie, and part of that I think is just the style of storytelling they choose to do. It just isn't all that exciting of a movie. There's no really big pops. There's no big moments in this movie. It's just all kind of like A, B, C, D. It's very predictable.
I there are some things that are not bad, but quite honestly, I actually got to go down a point because I really think like I wouldn't really go and show anybody this, like right off the bat, be like, "Oh, you haven't seen the black hole? Let's watch the black hole."
Yeah.
I think
So
Well, see, hold on. I get rebuttal for that is if you wanted to see miniatures in a style that's not done today, it would be this one. Maybe was it Outland? There's a couple other movies that the scale of the miniatures I would show them just because they don't do it anymore.
if I want to do that, I would go to Star Wars, and I'm talking about the original 3.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't
that would
take
be-
them to anything like Outlander or this. I wouldn't do that because I'm not. I gotta go with Ryan. I mean, there's really nothing in this thing that I can be like, oh, that was really funny, or that was really cool, or that was way out there for the time. Because if I think about it, you got 2001: A Space Odyssey that came out almost 10 years before this one. You have Star Wars that came out 5 years before this one. I can't do it. Like if I want to show somebody something really hardcore from that time, I would choose something way better than this.
Well,
So, I mean, it goes down to the 2.
Even Space Odyssey.
Oh, we're gonna get to that one.
Space Odyssey, the pacing of that movie was epically slow, but it was a brilliant movie that used the pacing to its advantage.
Yeah.
This movie, it was more like the Shakespearean actor, bleeding every bit of stage time out of walking from one side to the other.
I would say I liked this movie a lot more than 2001. It took me
Wow.
It took me 12 days to finish that movie.
But, okay, look, I was going to chalk it up to, this is one of those movies you like when you're young and stupid, and that's okay. There's a lot of movies I still like that when I was young and stupid. But, you couldn't show this to somebody like, oh, you haven't seen this one? You got to watch this.
Oh, no, I mean, that wouldn't be the point. I think if you're like a Disney-holic, this would be one of the movies you'd have to see along with Songs of the South, just because not that many people know about this movie.
This would be one of those ones, if you're a Disney-holic, that you, just out of being a purist, like, well, I guess I have to get that.
Watch Steamboat.
Steamboat
Bitchy.
I know people who love Disney movies, and they'll say, oh, I've seen everything Disney made. Okay, I've got two, Songs of the South and Black Hole. Two movies that most people these days have A, never heard of, or B, never seen. And so, I mean, for a Disney movie, I think it's worth seeing. I mean, if you're going to talk far as hard sci-fi, there's better choices out there. It definitely is. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Facebook page. Also have a podcast. Yeah, just check us out. See what you tell us what you think.
You didn't get Ryan's final.
So what's your final score, Ryan?
I'm sticking with the 2.5. Couple of interesting things, couple of interesting little effects, but nothing at all to recommend to somebody really.
And we're doing True Detective Season 1, Episode 1. And unlike some of the shows we've done, even like American Horror Story, this show is dark. I mean, American Horror Story was dark, but not like this, in my opinion.
See, I wanted to actually watch this one because not for the fact that Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are in it, but I actually wanted to see Matthew McConaughey play something like this role because I wanted to see what he could do with it. And I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. The only big issue I have with it is, I mean, I like the ending, but the way they did this whole first episode was really slow. Really slow, and how they presented it and brought you into the show.
That's what made me like this episode was the slow nature. I love seeing what he was like beforehand. You get to see kind of now he's this kind of drunken person.
Yeah.
I loved everything about so far this first episode. I love the delivery. I love the slow take on everything. I love the fact that Woody was kind of. He was kind of trashing the guy the whole time, but saying, no, he was a good detective, but he had his quirks. We called him the tax man.
I just find it funny that Woody Harrelson is the protagonist in this. He's the good guy.
That never happens.
I mean, not since Cheers. I mean, really, come on, think about it. His roles after Cheers, he really wasn't the good guy after that. He was kind of like the guy with good intentions, but was a bad guy. This one, he's like the whole church going, not into drinking, drunk wise, and yeah, I mean, he wasn't even smoking. I mean, really, or looking for Twinkies.
I like McConaughey's. By the way, thank you. I have to catch myself. I love McConaughey's internal monologue that he says out loud.
Oh yeah,
it's like this really cheesy noir, like Max Payne-esque, but it works really well with what they're showing. Yeah. I even love the point that when Woody Harrelson's saying, "Dude,
yeah,
remember what I said about quiet time?"
Yeah, quiet time in the car. This is our quiet time. Ryan, have you seen this one before, or did you actually get a chance to watch it?
No, I have.
Wait, Ryan watched
first season.
He's done this one before.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, first season was something else. I love the ultra flawed characters, especially cops that pull it together for the sake of the particular case that they're working on, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I love the fact he made those cops get him a 6-pack.
Yeah,
I love that was my.
And then they told him no smoking, and then gave him a cup to ash in.
He's just like, "Do you want me to tell you?"
Yeah, but McConaughey and Harrelson is two people I've kind of wanted to see together.
Yeah.
for a long time. They both sort of, in a certain way, occupied the same space in my mind. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
they
obviously
kinda do.
so used to Woody Harrelson being the funny guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in something like Natural Born Killers, he's playing a caricature of that psychopath sort of thing.
Yeah.
I still
You got Larry Flint and things like that, characters like that. But mostly, I think of Zombieland and Kingpin and White Men Can't Jump.
So Kingpin, that's been a while.
Sort of gritty and real, like you had shades of it in No Country.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
To see him kind of expound on that sort of thing, I love seeing him in shit like this.
So what do you think about Matthew McConaughey? Because I've always been a quasi fan. When his movies are good, when I like his movies, I've always liked him in it.
Yeah, I agree.
He seems to be one of these. When it comes to my theory of actors, is every actor has at least one genre they're good in, and occasionally they can be good at other branches. But he's when he finds the right movie, he does an amazing job in it.
Well, I mean,
if you take out his romantic comedies, you know what I mean? Shit like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or Wedding Planner or something like that.
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
Got a pretty bitchin' track record, man.
Yeah,
He does. He did one that we did. I'm pretty sure we did it for the show Interstellar,
Yeah.
which he kind of played kind of a down on his luck type of guy.
Fucking Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street, Mud.
Yeah, he's
all kinds of good roles that he's been in.
yeah, like Ryan said, as long as he's not stuck in the
Rom-coms.
comedy chick flicks, which he did for what, like 10 years it felt like.
Well,
Yeah, he had a
I
mortgage
don't
payment.
begrudge somebody wanting to make
No, I don't either.
a bunch of money.
I
was
mean,
either a
Matthew
mortgage
McConaughey, but whatever.
It was either a mortgage payment or he had alimony. But
Yeah, but
I
I think he's got a really good ability that I think has been used, but not to the standard that I think he could do.
I also think he's the right amount of quirky, like
Yeah.
personality, personal-wise, is he's kind of a strange dude, which I think lends itself really well to this particular role. You've got a character who's a little south of normal.
Yeah.
I loved his role. If I have time, I'll actually watch the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely give this a must see.
watch.
Next week is James's pick, so you're up.
I'm going to go to a really straightforward, easy film. We're going to be doing Shoot 'em Up.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
By the way,
Had
he warned
John
me on the
stressed.
he warned me on the drive over here. It's like I'm not in the mood for one of
And,
James's vengeance picks.
Did you have a TV show, John, or do you want me to jump on one? I always have
didn't.
backups. Okay, we're going to be doing Season 1, Episode 1 of Legion.
Ooh.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, for next week we're doing Shoot 'em Up and Legion. What
Season 1, Episode 1.
Season 1, Episode 1 of Legion. And for Jonathan Charney, James Stevenson, Ryan Preston, thank you for watching.
Thank you.